In the early 20th century, mental illness was a mystery. No antidepressants, no talk therapy, just a desperate hope for a cure. Enter Walter Freeman, an American doctor who bursts onto the scene in the 1930s with a radical solution, the lobotomy. But this wasn't a typical surgery. Freeman's version, the transorbital lobotomy, involved an instrument resembling an ice pick and controversial methods. In 1935, a new procedure called a leucotomy emerged in Portugal. This involved removing small bits of tissue from the brain to treat mental illness. Freeman, a neurologist, saw potential. He renamed it lobotomy and modified the procedure to sever connections between the frontal lobes of the brain and thalamus. The first lobotomy in the US took place in 1936. Freeman, lacking surgical training himself, enlisted neurosurgeon James Watts for the procedure. Their patient was a housewife named Alice Hammett, who struggled with anxiety, insomnia, and depression. Freeman and Watts reported promising results, noting improvement in some patients. Demand grew, and by 1942, the duo had performed over 200 operations. However, Freeman wanted an easier process for institutions that lacked operating facilities and trained personnel. Enter the transorbital lobotomy, inspired by an Italian doctor who operated through the eye socket. In this new procedure, Freeman would use an instrument resembling an ice pick, tapped through the bone behind the eyelid with a mallet and into the brain. It required no anesthesia, just electroconvulsive therapy to induce a seizure. Freeman began traveling the country performing these ice pick lobotomies, often under shocking conditions. He'd brag about the speed and simplicity of his office procedure, performing lobotomies in front of crowds, sometimes on patients as young as 4. The consequences were devastating. Many patients suffered severe personality changes, some were left unable to care for themselves, and a significant number died from complications. One notable case involved Rosemary Kennedy, sister of President John F. Kennedy. Her lobotomy left her with a severe intellectual disability for the remainder of her life. Despite the criticism, Freeman continued his crusade. Public fascination with lobotomy grew, fueled by media portrayals of it as a miracle cure. But the medical community started raising alarms. Freeman's partner, Dr. Watts, appalled by Freeman's new procedure, left the practice in 1950. After 4 decades, Freeman had personally performed possibly as many as 4,000 surgeries. Finally, in 1967, his traveling horror show came to an end. After a patient died from a cerebral hemorrhage, Freeman was banned from performing surgery. His legacy is a dark chapter in medical history. The lobotomy story isn't just about a reckless doctor. It highlights the desperation families faced with limited options for mental illness. Today, mental illness is treated with a focus on preserving a person's well-being, a far cry from the lobotomy's brutal approach.